I thought she was going to be on. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe she is and she just can't talk. Okay. And then I take business cards home and friend request and message them. See, you're so much smarter than I am. That's really brilliant. If you get a business card from someone, go friend them and get into their funnel. So much smarter than me. I don't even think that way. See, this is why we have to collaborate and brainstorm ideas. So that was kind of fun, Dina. I hope that they do it again because I felt like I wrote a few little things and it was a good little reminder. Tonight, we actually want to get right into two main things that we heard in the beginning when we first started and last month. There were two areas that people really wanted help, and it's not going to be a surprise. Connection, content, and conversations. It's like the same thing, right? That's why it really isn't anything new or different. However, we want to get a little bit deeper into content. So Melissa asked me a question. She's like, so Andra, what holds you back? You know how to use ChatGPT. You know how to write content. You know how to teach content. You know, you put content out on your wall. What holds you back from having more content that serves more, and really being super consistent with content that adds value? And I said, lack of planning. Absolutely, lack of planning. And then when we got back from Robin's retreat, it was pretty cool because she had a friend that is not in network marketing, but does use social media. And she talked about how there's kind of a rhythm of your posts. And Bob talks about how it's a percentage. So Melissa and I talked about, we're going to jump in, we're going to do a little bit of content, but we also want to value and appreciate, where we are with the end of the month too. And I know that you guys probably have some people that you want to message. But we do want to do this. So I know we did a poll in the chat. Somebody just joined us, I thought. Maybe not. No? Okay. I thought I just admitted somebody.
It's Melinda's note taker. She's doing the same kind of AI things for her.
Yeah. She that helps her a lot too. So looking at the content and not overthinking it. So she also shared with me that some of you guys watched Lois Powers' visibility YouTube, and how it for whatever reason you heard it slightly differently. Maybe it helped to reduce the paralysis or the overthinking. But Melissa and I both watched it and we're like, it's the exact same stuff. So what is it about Lois's presentation or how she said it that really helped? And I got to thinking that I think it's just when you're given content, you then think you need to do exactly what you were given. And that is not the case with Bob's content. It is for you to assimilate it and make it your own and replace conceptually with your own story, your own tips, your own stuff. But Lois is doing it in a different way, and it made sense to you guys. That's all that really matters. So we wanted to look at what is the rhythm or the way that you should be getting these posts out there, so you're still showing that you have something to sell, but you're not selling. And that's there's a little bit of a knack to, there's a little bit of an art to it. So you guys might want to write this down because I'm just going to say it to you. I don't have anything to show you. So the percentages really should be, and we've talked about this before, when you're doing connection or value content, it wants to be 30 to 40% of your posts. If you post 2 times a day, which I do not, but if you do, then you are at 14 posts for the week. So that's approximately 4 or 5 content posts, 4 or 5 value posts, and only 2 proof and 2 invitation. That's it. So that when people come to your wall for the first time, because the whole idea here is to attract new people to you. And if the first thing that they see when they get up there is testimony, 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 invite, testimony, invite, testimony, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's going to sell to me. So I am not going to become her new friend. Just being honest. That's what they're going to say. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's going to sell to me. I don't want to be her friend. What else does she have to offer me? But if you can have a rhythm that Gretchen talked about, which is jab, jab, punch, jab, jab, punch. And what that means is there's a rhythm of your posts or a scheduling of your posts that it's connection, connection, value, proof, connection, value, invite, connection, value, proof. So if you are only doing one post a day, it's probably going to be in that flow. So if we looked at like 2 weeks worth of content, this is what it's going to go like. Connection, value, Sunday, connection, value, connection, value, proof would be on Friday. Connection. The next one would be value on a Sunday. Connection. But because you've had connection, value, connection in there, you could actually do a proof now on, or an invitation on Tuesday. And that could be like an invitation to a lunch and learn, or an invitation to a business, right? And then you're going to go back to connection, value, connection, value, proof. But that's only one post a day. So you're only going to see a proof or an invitation like every 4 posts. And if that's not what you want, and you want more proof on your wall, but you still want to be in that rhythm, then you're going to want to post 2 times a day. But let me remind you just really quickly, this or that is a connection post. Give me your opinion is a connection post. If you do some value, but you say, well, this is a tip that I've tried, what's something that you've done also? That's a connection and a value post. It actually fits into both categories. So if you do 2 posts, let's say you do a Monday morning graphic lift up, but then in the evening you do something of value, well, then your schedule, you're going to have a proof post on like your 3rd day, because you might do connection and value in 1 day. And then you might be able to do a connection and a proof in day 2. And then a value and connection, a value, and then bam, an invitation. So every 3rd post could be proof or invitation, but actuality, it's like every other day or every 3rd day, not every 4th or 5th. So there's some things to think about. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't post twice a day, but if you want to increase your visibility, which is the whole idea here behind what Lois is teaching, or you want to increase your engagement, which is what Bob is teaching, they're both for the same reason. It's to increase enrollments. It's to convert to sales, not on social media, but in your messages. So it's the same exact idea and concept, but there is kind of a rhythm. So the thing is if we don't plan it out for that rhythm or for those posts, then we are a little bit haphazardly, or like me, I have to scroll back and I'll be like, oh, I did a value, I did a connection, I did a connection, I did connection. Oh crap, I need a value and I have nothing ready to go. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another connection. And oh, tomorrow comes along, I better do a proof because I haven't had a proof for like 5 or 6 days and I haven't offered really any value. I haven't offered a tip. So Melissa and I talked about it today, and she's finally on here. It looks like we both agreed value posts are one of the hardest things for us to do, but connection posts are not too hard. We can connect with people. We can do fun stuff. We can do engagement. So I'm really curious for you guys, and feel free to unmute. which kinds of posts are the most challenging for you guys to do? Especially now that you've gotten to see Lois's stuff or, kind of hearing about it this way. Which one do you guys think might be more difficult? And I'm going to take a bite because I'm hungry.
Value posts are the hardest for me.
Tell me more, Edwina.
Well, it's easy for me to do a connection post because I'm kind of giving a little bit about me and asking them about them. So I'm doing an engagement connection post there, but it's hard for me to bring in just a value post. I need more help with my wording on those.
Thank you for sharing. I do have an idea and a feedback for you, but thank you for sharing. I'll save it. Anybody else?
I think invites are hard for me, mainly because I just think of it. An invite post to me still feels sometimes like a graphic flyer. And I like the value and connection. So I prefer for the invite to be in Messenger. And I also struggle with putting before and afters on my wall. I'm happy with doing that in my stories from time to time. But unless it's like my son, when he gives approval to do that, I'll do that because I'm related, or myself. But when it's other people, I feel like that also might catch somebody as I'm just trying to sell them. So I feel like I overthink those, but I'm also hesitant to put them on my wall because I also have a lot of people who I've helped that they've been in bondage to their health journey, if that makes sense. So like they've been on an extreme. And so that kind of content might discourage rather than encourage. So I think stories.
And so that's so good to hear. And before I forget, I want to address both of you, because if I don't, then I'm going to forget it. But Melissa is typing. So great habit for you in stories, Dina. And that's my solution too. Because 5 years ago, that's all I did, right? I would do a proof post and then a graphic to say hello. And then I would do a little bit about my family, but my grandkids weren't even born yet. So it's like, what the heck do I even share? And I don't have a hobby. I'm just a busy teacher. I really don't have a life, So using stories has been great. And I think Tracy does a really good job of showcasing that, where you can put things, but even in stories, and this could sting a little bit. I don't mean for it to, so please know I'm just sharing what I've learned from other people. It's not a personal thing, but stories need to be jab, jab, punch also. So it needs to be life, singular, fun, singular. Or let's say you want to talk in stories, talk like ones, and then do like a graphic or somebody's results of maybe something that connected to what you talked about, or a personal life family thing, or a reel that you're sharing from Instagram into your stories, and then another something about you. So it's a variety. The reel can show something that you are interested in, what you like to watch, then something about a trip that you took, and it can be old content too, Edwina. It does not have to be current. It does not have to be current. You would never know that the story that I shared with my granddaughter was last night, because it could have been 3 months ago and nobody would have known. It just happened to be last night, but nobody would have known. So Dina, that could help you with moving things more to your stories, because get this, my mother of almost 80 years old, who we very rarely talk, not because it's ill or anything, we just don't communicate a lot. Guess who messaged me happy anniversary from my story? My mother. So people watch stories way more than they see posts. So it's kind of nice. Then you can stay authentic to yourself that way. But the other part of that is, if you stick with that rhythm of jab, 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 punch, and you do like 4 connection and value posts, your invitation post isn't going to feel so weird because you've done so much of the other. You're like, I'm just putting it out there. The other thing is you do not need to do invitation posts with graphics. An invitation post can simply be a picture of you like I did, let the adventure begin. It was an invitation to check out my new group. Nobody felt like that was weird or sales or spammy. I just said, I'm excited about the new adventure to begin. And it was a little cup. And I said, in the comments below is my new group. That was an invitation to go check out. For you guys, it would be Gut Driven Living, because you can still make those posts and put that link in there, or drop gut in the chat, drop gut in the comments. If you want to check out my new group, I'm so excited. We're talking about Gut Driven Living over 40. And then that's an invitation. And then you can still go over to Messenger and then you can do the rest, but it's not a graphic. I still do not put graphics even on my invitation post. So you can kind of let go of that. And then Edwina, for your wording, this is said with love in my heart. Get over it. You're smarter than you think you are. You do not have to overthink your posts that are value and work. I'm going to show you tonight how simple we're going to make it. How does that sound? Does that sound good? Okay, cool. I say that with all the love. Like if I could reach through and hug you and kiss you, I would. So Tracy, anything of that resonate with you so we can get into the how we're going to do it, or anything to add on or wondering about, or like, oh, I heard that and that's me?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think some things that I struggle with is trying to come up with ideas of things to talk about. And I know we need to go to and reach down to our pillars, but even sometimes when you do that, you're just like, you get stuck. So I have a feeling what you're going to bring to us is going to help. So
I hope so. Melinda,
Very much.
Melinda, I know you're here, Melinda. Do you want to add in? I know you can't turn on your camera, but would you like to chime in?
I have lots of ideas. I have lots of content created. I don't get it posted. I've got some self-sabotage issues that I need to figure out.
Gotcha. You know
But
what?
yeah,
I
I
know
mean, Chat GPT will give you the ideas for the value.
yeah. I heard somebody say the other day, and this may or may not help you, Melinda. That's it right there. Melissa's saying it. I think Melissa said, if anything else, just schedule it so that you just put it out there, just like you're scheduling it in your group, and don't worry about priming your post or going and commenting. Just get good at just schedule it, just put it out there because you're a creator. So while you're going to go schedule your post for your group, just go schedule your post on your wall.
Yeah. I get all the analysis paralysis.
Oh, amen, sister. We all do. Melissa, I'm going to jump in
I got
and
to
do
do
that
value and content and Yep. I am
Okay,
actually terrible about the invite and the promoting of the business piece, which is really backwards. So
okay, good to know. Melissa, I am going to jump into the connection and the brainstorm, but what do you want to add? I don't want to be the only one talking tonight. I was just trying to honor that you're driving.
Well, thank you. No, I mean, I don't really have a lot to add. I didn't get to listen to the first part because you were still sitting in the meet the teacher thing, but I will tell you guys that a lot of your content, if you can just plan it out a little bit, like I went back through and where I feel like on the invite side and even on the proof side, Facebook Lives and interviews help a lot. Because you can invite in the live, or you can have the person you're interviewing do the invites even. I also feel like proof posts don't just have to be a before and after or about products. They can also be about proof posts can be about the lifestyle and the business side, which could also be a connection. So just kind of keep those things in mind as you are planning it out, and then just put it in there and just schedule it. Most people are seeing good return if they post between 4 and 7 p.m.
And
So.
I would say even between 5 and 7 a.m., but I can't ever get that done. I try, and it's my lifestyle. It's going to change, but so I want you guys to do an activity with me, and I do not have a lot very visual, and I apologize. That's not who I usually am. So I am going to ask you guys to get out a piece of paper. And I want you to, the easiest way to do this, trick of a teacher. If you turn your paper, let's see, like that, you've turned it into like your own columns, right? And so I want you to kind of split it into, I'm not going to push you too far. I'm just going to say 4. If you want to make it into 5, you can make it into 5. Doesn't matter. But you can do 4 or 5. It's up to you. Okay. Now, this is going to be really fast. And the reason why it's really fast is because I'm not going to let you guys get into what Melinda just said, analysis paralysis. I love that little statement. We're not going to have any of the overthinking tonight. We're just going to get after it. Does that sound fair enough? Okay. So what I want you to do at the very tip top of each one of those columns is I want you to write down 3 to 5, and hang tight before you write anything. Values. I will tell you, I have a hard time with this. Every time somebody says value, I think of things like respect, love. Well, those are values too. But instead, I want you to think of something that you can talk about, that you're passionate about, that you can have a conversation with somebody about for a good 10, 15 minutes. You could maybe even talk to them all night long about it. I'll give you a hint. One of them is probably going to be wellness, right? Or health. So if you want to, you could write that one down. But then I want you guys to write the other 3 or 4, and one of them really should be your business. However, it doesn't have to be, and I'm going to show you how and why. So write those down really fast. Things that you could talk about, topics, things that are important to you, but it's got to be a little bit of a broader topic, like mine is family. I have mine done in a Trello board. I'll pull it up so I can show you guys. And I'm not showing you this tool because I think you need to go use this tool. I'm showing you this tool because it's my chart paper. So don't think you have to go know this tool. All right, you should have your 3 to 5 things done at the top of your columns already, because you know yourselves really well. I'm not going to show you my tool yet. I'm going to tell you what mine are. Wellness, family, travel, self-development. That's it. Those are mine. I'm not a very complex person. I do love music. I do love camping, but those are going to fit within some of those headings. Okay. So now I want you to take your first column, and we're just going to do wellness because we all are in the wellness industry, but I want you to think about your person that you typically speak to, or what you are passionate about within wellness, because it might not be the same as mine. I talk about menopause. You might be like, ugh, I don't want to talk about menopause. That's not something that I'm even dealing with yet. Like Melissa's going to be like, that's not me. That's not my person. I'm not going to be talking about menopause. She's going to probably put like eating on the go. Like that's one of her things. So now what I want you to do in that column for wellness is I want you to write like, oh, and do me a favor. I apologize. Do like a big chunk of space between each one and take up the whole column. So like whatever is your big thing under wellness, like do big chunks of space, almost like a little index card. Sorry, I'm not very visual. I'm not doing a very good job of visual stuff. I should have had this all like on a thing, but you guys, I'm keeping my head above water right now. I'm just being very transparent. I'm a busy gal these days.
Your
Not just,
Your Trello board is pretty organized.
yeah, my Trello board is ready, but I didn't want to screw anybody up.
And
Okay.
also quit telling us sorry because you're doing great.
Okay, I'm gonna stop saying sorry, and thank you for the belief in me. I need to hear that too, because I'm having one of those couple dates. All right, so here's my first column. This is how Trello gets to be organized. It's kind of cool. It's like a big spreadsheet. So here's my first column, but what I did in my column, Edwina, can you see this, hon? Awesome. Okay. Whenever I can't see you, I can't know if you can see me. So I just described my ideal customer because I wanted to have that person in mind, because I'm going to get to go use ChatGPT to help me to figure out what to write as a tip for these things. But I'm not going to go there yet, and neither are you, because I'm going to show you guys how to make it easy. We're going to do ChatGPT next week. We're going to actually use, just like what Dina said, I'm doing great. You guys are doing great. You do not have to use ChatGPT in the beginning, and I'm going to teach you why and how come. So here's my little subtopics. I have way more than 5. Healthy living, nutrition, menopause, losing weight, gut health, reverse aging, overcoming hypothyroidism, reducing cortisol, sleep, stress, recipes, easy cooking. Because I really don't cook. I'm like really a meat and potatoes girl, but I've just replaced potatoes with vegetables. So, and I'm constantly on the go. Now, somebody else had a little value post that I like borrowed. And so here's Bob's directions. When you write a value post, you pick a subcategory and you drill down until it's crystal clear what you want to share with them. And you share, please write this down. One tip. This comes from Melissa today. She shared with me that her reels are so much better. You want to talk about that, Melissa, real quick?
Yep. So I don't know if you guys have been following me, but my and this actually came from Crystal, because Crystal has been having a lot of views and gaining some followers, because she really niched down that she is a 1990s mom, basically. And so she was doing some niche things around that. Well, when it comes to me, I was getting caught up in, I've got to figure out 3 things or 7 things or 5 things to tell him to add value. And she said, no, just do one thing. And so I started doing, okay, one thing I've learned. So one thing I drank to lose my 30 pounds. One thing I ate to lose my 30 pounds. One thing I learned from my conference, right? And I just share the one thing, but I put it with, 7 seconds or less of video and music. And I have my views on all those things where I do one thing are double or triple or sometimes 4 and 5 times as much as what normal stuff, my normal views are.
So we're going to do connection. We're not doing value, because we're going to start with what we're good at. Whenever we're doing something new, you always want to start with what you're good at, because if you can have a win and success in something you're good at, it's a lot easier to go then do something that you're having a hard time with. Okay. So I want you to go now real quick. No lie. I am only going to give you 3 minutes, and all you're going to do is jot a few down. You're going to go back and finish it later. I want you to go to your other 3 columns, and I want you to write down the big kind of things that you think about when under your category family or whatever you wrote. These are just an example of mine. You can borrow mine, but this needs to be you, not me. All right, try to finish up and get a few ideas in your last column. All right, this is going to probably, and this is in the information from Bob. I just put it in my Trello board so I could have it as a reminder. He's flat out saying a connection post is where you're connecting around your shared values. So if my value is family, right? I'm trying to build trust with people so that they know that I really love family and what about it? But here's some examples. This is a connection post, guys, not a value post. The values are your topics. The things that we brainstormed just now are drilling down into all the subtopics. I'm sure some of you are like, well, okay, but I could drill down even further, right? Like you could even go even more narrow. But he says here as an example, if your value is family, you might want to share how you never let your pursuit of success in business come in the way of being a present mother or father. Share your belief that you don't have to choose between one or the other. So I'm not going to share it right now because I don't even have Facebook up, but I made a post about my grandson saying, well, Grammy, you can bring your computer and work. And how one of my team members actually saw it and she said, that made me stop and think. And I'm really trying to figure out, when do I work my business? When do I work with my family? I know I can do both. I know I don't have to choose between them, but that really resonated with her. Well, I was sharing a value, but I was still in a way connecting it to what I do. Melissa did one with values with the horses and doing the right thing and going back and talking to, and apologizing and making, things right with somebody in the horse world. That's a value she has. And whatever her column is, she might have Christian beliefs as her top category right here at the top. But down in here, one of her topics might be, how does that show up in her family? But her big topic is Christian beliefs, or, her Christian, how she acts as a Christian, working through Christ. Travel is all inclusive. Well, I could go into all inclusive and I mean, oh my gosh, think about all the things I could talk about all inclusive travel and why I love it, and why I pick it versus, picking little things. I don't know that I would do that, but I could. So that's connection content. I got to go to my notes. Otherwise I'm going to start jabbering. So what you guys can see here is that you can break these down into more topics so that you could make a post. You could make, how many different posts, those of you that are grandkids could probably make, you could probably do 30 posts on being a grandparent. And you could have all of that content on being a grandparent, being torn between correcting them and loving them. Playing with them and having time with them. Like there's so many things. Marriage, I am not a great one to give marriage advice, but I sure can put it out there that it takes work to stay married and you have to give and take, right? But I'm definitely not a marriage advice person. But what a lot of people think is that you have to overthink these. Like you said, Edwina, writing a connection content is easy, right? But did you know that all of these could also become value posts, like giving a tip? But the ones that are the easier ones for us to do probably live right here in this healthy living, because where we're giving value, as far as like writing a post with a tip, is going to be more around wellness, but it doesn't have to be. I could write about camping and I could give a tip on how I could go camping and take 3 main things and stay on track. So I'm still giving value about, I'm sharing that I go camping, but I'm giving a tip on how I can be healthy while I'm going camping. So they can kind of, you know, weave in and out. Melissa?
What I was gonna say is one big thing is to share things that don't have anything to do with product. Okay. So, you know, one value or one thing that I did is I shared one thing I ate while losing 30 pounds. Well, it had nothing to do with singular product. It had to do with the recipe and I, was chopping up the food, right? Um, I tried to do that again and share a recipe because I thought maybe it's the recipes that people like. Well, on my second one that I did, and I did one recipe I ate while losing 30 pounds, I did the same thing again. But I didn't have my face in it, and I wasn't the one chopping up the food. I just videoed the food being made, and that reel didn't go nearly as good. So it does help to have your face in it. Um, and uh, I think sometimes you have to give a little bit of a, I mean, you want to make it probably like as short as you can too. The fast, like if you're doing a reel. Now, if you're trying to do just a post or something, you can make it longer, but it doesn't have to be really flowery wording. The things that are getting a lot of views right now are honestly probably 3 to 5 sentences or less, unless you're really trying to connect and get, shared something.
So, Edwina, do you on your paper now see all kinds of ways that you could write connection posts? And you said that's pretty easy for you, right? To write a connection post. Tracy, do you see some ways you could do some connection posts now, like topics and stuff? Dina, I know connection posts are easy for you. All right, Melinda, do you see in some ways? And I know this is not new for you. I know that we've done this even with like Kimberly Olson, but Melinda's been doing Bob's stuff. She's just been taking those classes more on her own, but she's been in all of his trainings. So we're going to make a shift. You guys with me? Okay. I want you to look at I want you to turn the paper over. I wasn't sure how to do this. I want you to turn the paper over. And on the other side, I want you to write a column. I did / do. I did or / do. Okay. Now underneath that, I want you to write, and you have to do this as quickly as you can, 5 things that you do for yourself to be healthy or lose weight or stay consistent with, and it cannot mention product. You cannot say, I take Zing. I drink my gut glow. Sorry. Something else. And if Melissa's not driving, she's supposed to do this too, because she said that she struggles too. She just turned her camera off. I got her.
Were you asking me to share something?
No, I was giving you a hard time.
Oh, okay. But I was gonna say, I just had a great idea.
Write it down. Don't lose it. Okay, you should almost be done. 3 to 5 things that you do now or that you did to achieve your results for yourself. Okay, who can blurt out their 3 things? Go, Dina.
I actually have like 8.
Of course you do.
So
That's right.
meal prep, drink water, move my body, stay rooted in the word, connect with community, share because I care, pantry cleanse, chart and track my results, reward myself with something other than food.
Guess what? You just wrote 8 different posts.
Yep.
Cool.
So every single one of those little things. Now, within each one of those little things, you could probably have 5 posts.
Mhm.
Because you could talk about one time, you could talk about, I never realized tracking protein showed me how little protein I was eating. And when I started tracking more protein, I saw a big shift in my midsection. When we're over such and such age, we really have to be working on protein. This is one thing that I did to increase my metabolism, feel better. And you can say lose such and such pounds. You could put that in there, but you're not talking about product. Okay. All right, Edwina, blurt yours out.
Okay. Drink water, eat peaches, have a cheat meal, walk, meal preparation, and track my macros.
Love it. Tracking macros is like 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 posts, right? Because how do you do that? So if you know how to track macros, you could actually do a whole entire live series on tracking macros.
That's very value add.
Very value add. And it can be a lead magnet. You can say, if you want help with knowing how much protein you should eat, drop protein in the comments and I will shoot you a message and I will help you figure out how much protein. And then you get to go into, so tell me, is this something you would like some help with? That's a lead magnet. Okay. So when we have these strength areas, all right, Melinda, what was your 3 or 5 or whatever?
A lot of the same stuff: plan meals, eat more vegetables, move more, track water, and find replacements for sweets.
Ooh, like that one. That's great. That's a hot button right there. Find replacements for sweets. Tracy, go.
Pretty much the same. I mean, just eat right, walk and use my bands. I meal prep, drink lots of water, and rewarded myself.
And for me, when I listen to your list, I'm like, what the heck does she mean by use my bands? So that's a whole live kind of thing there too. Like that's hard to put in a post, right? But you could put it in a post that you did it, but then you could go live the next day and extend it, right?
Yep.
Or you could do some reels of like showing how you use your bands. Well, what are they for and how and what's going on with that? But the same thing with drinking water. You can drill down even with the drinking water. How do you know how much water you're supposed to drink? How did you learn that? How did you figure that out? Like, how did, what do you do? Some people hate drinking water. What's a tip that you could do to like make water better? My little tip of a slice of orange, a slice of lemon, and a cucumber. I had so many people that were like, oh, I never thought of that. That's such a great blend. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have known, I should have shared that a year ago. So those are little things. Okay, so now you guys have just brainstormed how you can write a post, and Bob talks about how if you can say, I like a little bit of your pain point is going to just easily get in there, right? Like I was so stuck on, the scale got stuck. I wasn't sure what to do. I increased my water to such and such. This is something that I found that really helps to get the toxins out of my body. What's something you do to make sure you get your water in? Do you flavor it? What do you do? Drop your hints. I struggle with getting my water in, even though I know I need to. Tell me your advice. That's a value post. So we have our values, which are, I actually call them our passions. Those are the things we're passionate about that we could talk for hours and hours and hours about. And then there's little subtopics that live within our passions. And then you can break those little subtopics down even further if you want to, right? But then you are going to make a value post, which you're giving value. You're giving something for free to your audience. So your audience says, ooh, I want more of that. I want to come see. You guys, it's easy for me to teach it. It's just as hard for me to do it because Melissa's called me on the carpet and she's like, well, what's hard for you to do that? And I'm like, because I'm not planning it out. I'm overthinking it. I'm having a hard time too. So it's easy to talk like in theory. That's what makes teachers good teachers, because sometimes we can teach it, but we don't always want to go do it. But you know, putting it into play is like the next step. So if you have a calendar, could you easily in your calendar say value, connection, value, value, proof, connection, value, value, and then underneath the value, which one of these topics do you want to share people tell them about? Which one is the topic that you want to share that you just did in the I do list? And we didn't even get all the things that you've done, right? I mean, we literally scratched the surface. Could you guys go back to that column and add more to it? Okay, now I'm going to make you stretch your thinking a little bit more. I want you to do another column next to it. And I want you to write, I help. And I love that Melissa just lets me kind of go and be kind of crazy with things because she trusts me that I'm just going to do it.
Well, it's because you
So
do it. You go
Huh?
back and do it. Because
Yeah.
you actually go back and do it.
I help. Why I have done this. It's on my board. I help. And then I want you to write down 3 to 5 things. I don't care. I don't take this the wrong way. I don't care if you have a customer, if you don't have a customer. I want you to pretend if you have no customers, you are the customer. Okay. If you have customers, great. Think about your customers. If you've had customers in the past, think about your customers that you've had in the past. In your I help column, I want you to write 3 or 5 things that you help others do in order for them to hit their goals. And just write it down. Don't overthink it. Okay. So the same kind of idea with your I help. Now, instead of saying I did this or I do this, you're now becoming an authority. You can talk about somebody that you helped. I helped a customer. My customer and I the other day, we were talking. My friend and I the other day, you might want to say customer, but my friend and I were talking the other day. I was helping someone who was struggling with blank the other day, and we did blank. That's really great to put in like stories or in your live. It's like really natural that you can do that, but you can put it in a post. And then that can turn into, it could turn into an invitation post. So it could be a value post where you're not talking about product at all. You're not talking about any of those things. And it's just a tip that you're sharing that stays in the value post category. But if you put something about a product in there, or you put something about a group that you had them in, or you talk about a coaching session that you had, or a phone call that you had with them, well, now you're getting a little bit into the business, you're getting a little bit into what makes you different, sets you apart, and you can then offer an invitation for them to have a call or a chat with you. so that you could talk about what might help them. So it's changing it from a value post over to an invitation. It's not a graphic. It's still you talking. And that's why I think Melissa says, you know, reels and lives are really great ways to do invitation stories. It's just easier because you're having a conversation. The problem is those stories disappear in 24 hours. Lives, people can go back and watch, but if they're longer than 5 minutes, they're not going to watch. So your lives really need to get short. People are done watching your content. They make a decision to watch your content in the first 20 seconds. If you don't start your live and you are off, bam, ready to go, you've already lost them. The very first thing that you want to say is, hi, I'm Edwina. So nice to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Let me know if you watch the replay. Let me know if you're in here live. Tell me where you're from. I'm really excited today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I was helping someone the other day with getting unstuck because their scale was stuck, and I wanted to. We got on a quick call, and I'm just going to tell you about a few little tips that I shared with them. Maybe these are tips that can help you. And you know what? If you have a tip, drop your tip in here too. But if there's something that I can help you with while I'm talking to you about it, you know, drop that in here and let's have a conversation. You go into it, you tell them again, drop it in. You tell them again what it is. You tell them, drop it in again. That's what a live is like if you're done in 5 minutes. You're telling a quick story and you just, and that's like an invitation or a proof, but it's just done like a conversation. So that's a way that a live can help you guys. So I'm just showing you this other Trello board. This one is more finished. This is again somebody else's, but that's okay. But you're going to get the idea. So sometimes it doesn't have to be a theme for the day, but you can actually plan out your posts for the whole entire week if you want to. But you don't have to use a thing like a Trello board. You could use a notebook. You could use a calendar. You know, those big like day calendars. You could put, you know, the days that you want in there. And
Dina
like
had a
these are the main
picture of
topics.
one. Dina's holding
What's
one
that?
up. Look what
You have
Dina's
one?
holding up.
Oh, cool. I can't see it. I'm going to stop sharing. Nice.
I have it on my cork board right above my desk where I work. And so I just put in connection value, connection proof, connection value, connection invite, connection value, connection proof.
Yeah, it's like
And
a
I'll go back.
rhythm. It's like a dance. Yeah, good job. Love it. Don't turn off yourself. You're good. All right. So that was what we really wanted you guys to come away with, is that it's like so much easier than we make it. And I'm going to go back to Melissa's, you know, call me on the carpet today. So what makes it so hard for you, Andrea? And it is the planning. It's like writing it out and then just realizing that all I have to do is share one little tip. So the wording doesn't have to be all perfect, right? Yes, do we get better at writing posts? We absolutely do. Some people are better than others. You know, some people have a knack. I am not. I was never a language arts teacher. I'm a math teacher. I have no idea why I've gotten better at writing some of the things that I have, but I talk way too much. I'm like way too wordy. I can't shut my mouth. So I have to like really cut back on what I put in my posts. I mean, you guys, if you saw my posts some days, I like take a post and I cut half of it out before I hit post. Like I'm just going. I am almost using a post like journaling, where I'm like literally telling somebody something. And then I realize it's way too much. Nobody's going to read all that. And then I have to like cut half of it out.
I have found it's easier to type it into Instagram first because they limit your words. Facebook will let you go on forever, but it'll tell you when your caption's too long. And so another thing that with Chat GPT too is if I write it all out and then I put it in there and say, help me put this into 1,200 words or 500 words or whatever it is I'm trying to, then I still keep my first version because sometimes the Chat GPT makes it sound too robotic. So just as a, like I sometimes can cut it too much, but that's just a few things because I'm a wordy birdie too. Like I just love words. So I'll keep going all day long.
So I guess from when we came in and started the topic to where we're leaving now at the end of our session, with the idea around writing your connection content, is it easier? Is it better, more doable? You guys have ideas? What has this conversation helped you? Has our time together made a difference?
I don't know. I'll let you know here in a few days. No,
I like it,
it's been fantastic.
Tracy. I love it. But I think that would be good, because if you did go throw it in the chat and be like, hey, I'm excited. I just was able to write out some content. Our session on Monday night really helped. I mean, that's good feedback for us, right? Or I'm getting stuck here. I'm overthinking it still. We need to work on this next week. I need help with blank. That's the kind of stuff that this last 30 days, we really need to help each other with. So the next one was we segued over to value content, where you write one tip. How's that feeling now? Edwina?
It makes me feel more empowered to carry on.
Yay! You don't have to be perfect, my friend. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to do this too, sweetie, because I think I have to use ChatGPT all the time. I'm going to tell you a funny story, not a funny story, interesting story, and I'm going to show you guys something, and then we're going to close out, because I want to honor time, and people probably have to go do some messages, unless you guys want to stay together and do messaging. But I think we all can go do our outreaches on our own. Don't you think, Melissa?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to show you guys this, because I want you to see the power of what can happen. We're not going to do it tonight. I want you to see the power of it, because I want you to feel empowered. But we're not going to get into it. Oh, I don't think I see show screen. Oh, there it is. We're not going to get into it tonight because it takes the whole session. And I don't want it to create analysis paralysis. Okay. My assistant made a very, 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 very simple post the other day for me on gratitude. And it wasn't engaging. It was going to go in a group, and it wasn't engaging at all. It was just nice, but it wouldn't have caused anybody to comment or interact or agree or disagree. You guys know what kind of posts I'm talking about, right? You put up a graphic and you're like, this with an arrow. Well, yay, great. People now, they want more value than that. That's just the truth. So I took her idea. I was like, wait a minute, like Melissa just had an idea. Wait a minute, I want to grow that. So I want you to think about gut-driven living. And if you're struggling at all with like, how could I write some posts in gut-driven living that's not the same old thing over and over and over again, but how could I maybe even do a little bit of this on my wall, but not have it be a dissertation like I'm the expert, right? Because we don't want to be the expert. We just want to be somebody that's on the same journey. So I just said to ChatGPT, I want you to write a post on how to keep a positive mindset for women over 40. Include 3 simple tips and asking what they do to stay positive in spite of the challenges outside of their control. Because I already know I want them to chime in. So what ChatGPT did is it gave me a little overview, and I loved it. For women over 40, juggling work, family, personal goals, and health can often feel overwhelming. Yet a positive outlook is essential for overall being. Here's your 3 simple tips. Like, wow, I could have never said that well. But I could write a post like this. And here's 3 tips, right? There's a paragraph for each. Well, I decided I wanted to drill down, because like what Melissa said, and I want people to engage. I want them to actually read it. And I'm like, well, we could talk about practicing gratitude daily for a week or longer. So I went back in, and then here's their little paragraph. Great little paragraph. Life can be unpredictable, and we all face challenges beyond our control. That right there could be a hook for something on my wall. I mean, that's a great opening sentence. But it's a question here. So then I was like, well, wait, take each of these tips and write a post for each of them. This is how cool this tool is. It remembers what it already did. I don't have to rewrite the whole thing. It's all a strand. And so then it took it and it was practicing gratitude daily. And here it is. Simple practice, start a gratitude journal, create a gratitude ritual, share your gratitude. What about you? And I'm like, oh, that's way too long. Here's post 2, way too long. So it gave me all these posts and I said, break down each post into a post for each tip you wrote. For example, write a post for the gratitude journal. Then it becomes still even more so a dissertation, but it's all on a gratitude journal. Why the journal, how to start the journal, the benefits of a journal. That could literally become 3 posts in itself. Like, why do we journal? Day 1. How to start a gratitude journal could be day 2. The benefits of gratitude journaling could be day 3. And if you're doing this on your wall, you could talk about journaling 1 day a week. You wouldn't have to do it every day. That would be kind of silly. I mean, some people do that. There are other people. I mean, Melinda and I have both been trained by someone that says to do that and have like a theme. So I took these and then I put them on my Trello board just like they are so that they would become posts in a group. And I ended up with 9 different posts. And it's all on gratitude, but the posts get deeper. This one's all on social activities. And then join community groups, but have an activity, incorporate movement. So then it's movement, set realistic goals. And then it stopped, but I could literally take and go back and say on post 9, set realistic goals, break that down into 5 posts. And it would break it down into 5 posts for me. So it really is pretty endless. And this could cause analysis paralysis, like super easy, because you'd get so many things and you're like, well, what do I do? Well, this opening right here is about physical activity and reducing stress and boosting your esteem. You could literally say, I go for a walk 20 minutes a day in order to help me. I found it helps reduce my stress. I feel better about myself. I just can handle things that come at me a little bit better, but I have a hard time fitting in a 20-minute walk. If you're a walker, share with me your tips. How do you fit walking in your day? So all I did was just take this, I changed it to my voice and how I would talk on my wall to my friends and ask them their opinion. And that's all I used was just that one little thing. But her little graphic with her one little sentence made me go to ChatGPT and say, gosh, we could do like a whole month on gratitude in my group. And every day we could have something on gratitude and we could tie it in. And then the rest of the posts could still be on the other stuff, but 1 day a week or every day they could get something in the morning for a whole entire month on gratitude. If I want to attract women who practice gratitude and have a positive mindset, positive attitude, and I want a community that is a positive place to be, well, that's probably not so bad of an idea, right? Get it out there. The same thing is true for you guys. Who do you want to attract to you? So if you want to attract people who are go-getters, you're going to want to talk about go-getters. If you want people who wallow in self-pity, well, then you have to be careful about what you're putting out there. I know sometimes I attract people who want help all the time. And it's not that I don't mind helping people, But I also want people who are self-sufficient and stand on their own 2 feet, and they will do what is necessary, and they'll, help themselves so that they can help others. I don't want just people who just want help. So as you guys go forward and you're writing your connection content, don't overthink it. Have fun with it. You've got this sheet of paper. All we did was get it started. You guys can go back and fill out lots of stuff, but don't overthink it. Just pick one thing, put it out there, see where it goes. Okay. The more real you are and the more you are, the more you'll actually attract people to you. And it's interesting about Melissa's story, her cooking versus somebody just at hands cooking. I think it's really interesting how people really want to see other people. Like they want, like, it's replacing that human connection. They feel like they're in your world and they see your face. They feel like they're a part of your life. I literally have this woman who, God love her, she messages me like a paragraph every day about how, what a joy I am. And I mean, she in her mind knows me. And we've never met. We've never even had a phone call. And she's rare. I'm telling you, not everybody feels that way. But just have fun. Do you guys have any questions, or you have any hopes?
I'm excited to go put it into place. Even my
Yeah.
idea.
What's your idea? Tell us. What'd you come up with?
Well, when you were talking about the stuff I do, and I was just thinking about value of building a business and community. And Zeb said to me, he said, so what's the value of what you guys are doing, training like this, versus why don't you just go to the grocery store and talk to 3 people? And I said, well, if you go to the grocery store, you have to first talk to people that don't already know what you do, because I get new customers, right? And I said, but then you have to actually talk to people. Well, then he ran to the grocery store and I was just sitting in the car and didn't talk to anybody, just ran in, got what he needed, and was on his way out. And Zachary sees somebody he knows in the groceries or in the parking lot and makes Zeb stop, doesn't let him drive off, stops and says hello to the person, and the person comes over and feels so valued because Zachary stopped him and said hi, and we talked to him, right? And I thought that is a value, not only what I value, but it's funny because Zeb said we should go to the grocery store and do that. So now I didn't have to do it though, because I've duplicated myself and my kid. So he did it and was friendly and talked to people.
There's your hubby. I love it. That is so funny.
So I'm going to say something, the value of saying hi and how it builds a community and connections.
Yeah.
So
I think for people like, I don't know, a lot of people, I don't have that social. So if I don't go say hi to people through Messenger or stories, like I don't have a story up right now. And
let's take a picture and go put a story up.
I literally feel like I've misconnected. Hold on. I've misconnected with like people today because I haven't been on my stories.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Now I'll have a story. But
Yep.
I do think talking about what we do and how we network and collaborate and learn and try and grow is a post.
Yep.
I do. I do think it is. I don't know if a picture like this is going to do really good as a post, but it does great in the story.
Yep.
You guys, I appreciate always that you let me be a part of your community. It means a lot to me.
Well, thank you for coming back and helping.
Yes.
Yes,
We
we
love
appreciate
having
you
you.
too.
Yes. We love having you.
Well, I love that we get to talk to each other. Next week, we're going to do outreach and some chat GPT, right?
Yep. But go do the stuff that you already wrote down. Go do that this week. I would say I'm challenging you guys to do 3 to 5 posts.
I'm nervous about Chat GPT.
Don't be nervous. It'll break it
It's gonna
down
be
for us.
good.
And then you'll be like, oh, this is fantastic.
And, and
I
Edwina,
have Chat GPT. I just need to utilize it more. That's my thing, is I need to take it and utilize it.
And give it more specific directions. So when you say, I need some ideas to talk about what I did to lose weight. One thing I did was buy fresh food. Give me some tips to share about fresh food.
Yeah.
So like,
that would be
right.
a really good. Yeah, that'll be
And
a
then-
good thing for us to do next week, Melissa. Maybe you can come with some like really simple directions that we can do. Bye,
Yep.
Dina.
And I've got to go too.
Um,
I think I had a lady call
yeah.
me that wants an X bundle.
Well, let's go to work, everyone.
Right. See you guys later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
You.